So today, Trump was indicted for what might be the trial of the century. People are calling it the biggest trial in the history of America.
This is a persecution of a political opponent. This was never supposed to happen in America. So if you can't beat him, you persecute him or you prosecute him.
I don't know. Am I the only one with an interest in this? Maybe I am.
Oh, I am. I follow politics quite a bit. Just, I have been slowing down recently because honestly,
everybody has. Yeah.
I just don't really care much anymore. I've lost interest. I keep up with the local and like the issues that like matter to like my family and myself. Like that's about it. But that being said, regarding this though, I just think it's hilarious. So, did you read the Rudy Giuliani transcripts? Those things are comedy gold. They're like, oh God, it is so funny. These are actual transcripts from Rudy Giuliani with like some women and like these. I don't know. I guess these things are all coming out at the same time. I don't know if it's connected or not. Honestly, it's all a blur, so I have no idea. But that's what I've gotten out of this, which was Rudy Giuliani acting like a creep in these transcripts, and it's just money because you hear it in Rudy's voice, and it's just it gets even funnier. Yeah, it's genuinely bizarre.
The only thing I heard of Giuliani was I guess for years he had been accusing these two women of passing a USB key with votes on it to each other casually, like heroin dealers or meth dealers he compared them to. They're both black women, and it turns out it was a breath mint. It was like instantly debunked. Someone just passed like a pack of lifesavers. It's on video. And but even though it was like instantly debunked, he just kept saying it again and again for years. And that's just part of it. I
mean, it's easier to keep lying than it is to admit that you're, maybe wrong in the public eye.
You got to keep in mind, someone's handing him a list of speaking points.
For sure.
If one gets debunked, why would they care? These are effective speaking points. Mm-hmm. No one in the crowd, they don't care if it's true or not. It's about your speaking points. It's about evidence that you're right and your side is right. And look at the awful things they're doing. Can you believe they did this to a kid? Well, did they? And you look into it and they're like, well, kind of, not really. And it was.
We'll see how it goes. I think they're suing him for defamation.
I don't even know about Giuliani. I was thinking more of the Trump thing.
Yeah.
To call it the trial of the century is interesting.
Yeah, right. What's bigger though?
Well,
OJ?
Using that, that's last century. I'm glad you said that because that's where I would go. I would go to OJ probably, but we're in a new century, and I can't think of any real humdingers this century off the top of my head. For some reason, the Johnny Depp thing.
I was going to say the Johnny Depp Amber Heard one. That's all anyone could talk about for like
there was
weeks.
The American there was the American tourist in Paris. There was a murder trial for her there that maybe you guys don't remember. It was a very big deal in the early 2000s because they were holding her and trying her for this murder.
Oh yes, and I remember that.
These
Americans always
way smaller than Trump trying to overthrow the results of an election and take control of the country after he
allegedly
lost.
They'll have to prove that, and if they do, and if they lock him away and throw away the key, that'll be a wild precedent to set. I personally think that he did a lot of illegal things, and if we were going by the letter of the law, we'd probably hang him. But we don't all want to be held to that same rule of the letter of the law. No one does 100% because we all might get hung at the end of the day. So, and all of our politicians will, and the whole fucking system will fall down. I think the idea of we got him and like throwing him in prison makes us all look bad. Not just him. I don't think it'll be a moment of the law applies to everyone. Well, no, it doesn't. Let's go get this guy then. Well, I'll talk about that guy. That's what it'll be. One side should not tear the other side down. It's never good with our two chambers.
It doesn't seem like that's what's happening here.
System. Oh, it is. I mean, his side. It is.
I mean, the grand he had to be indicted by a grand jury, which it had to look at evidence and had to make that.
Yeah, but how did we get there,
that was not.
I don't think Kyle's claiming he's not guilty. I think we all can see he's really fucking guilty.
Yeah.
For a couple of these, the one that's sketchy is were the business payments to Stormy Daniels' campaign contributions. Like that's
so funny that that's where we're at with it. Like, isn't that enough of like Kyle's point of like that's absurd? That's
the sketchy one. That's what I'm saying. But the other two, the documents case and the The
January 6th.
like overthrow the government
January
stuff.
6th.
There's January 6th, and then there's the Georgia one, right? That's the fourth one that he's waiting on, I think.
Yeah, I think that one's not.
Georgia may
yet,
press charges as well. That's pending, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't like
But-
it. I don't like.
Yeah, I
them
don't think
going
they
after
should
any-
indict someone who's running for president. Usually, it kind of makes you look banana.
That's my thing, and
Republic-y.
that's why I never thought that this would happen. Is because it just seems so wrong to do it in the middle of this election. And I'm sure the other side would say there's no better time to do it than before he,
Of
you know,
course,
becomes
it's
president again. He's leading in the polls. You know, like, he's still leading in the polls.
Yeah, I mean, they'd rather go up against DeSantis. That guy has less charisma than a rock. That guy is so. Every picture I see of him is him looking like a goober and boots way too big for him.
A few months ago, DeSantis was considered the more dangerous opponent.
No, I never
and
bought
then-
that.
I mean, I do think he's a dangerous dude. I just think that he's an idiot.
I just
You
think he
know, but-
juxtaposes against Biden in a favorable way because, like, Biden's biggest drawback is the age thing, and he has a speech impediment, but that speech impediment has been compounded by age, so it's hard to say what's speech impediment and what's just senility or whatever. And DeSantis, on the other hand, isn't a septuagenarian like Trump is, so that makes him look strong. In certain ways, that makes him a tougher competitor than Trump, who can't
I
very well
definitely-
run on the age card.
I mean, it wouldn't be an age card for Trump. It would be a senility thing where he'd be like, "This guy has no idea what's going on. He's a
excellent,
complete
excellent
idiot. He's a
impression.
moron. Look at me. I'm ridiculous, but I'm still talking. Look at me. I can riff for like 10 fucking minutes. You think this is easy, folks? You want to get up here and riff with me? You want to do bits? You want to do jokes? You think I'm doing a tight five taken down to the comedy cellar? You're going to listen to this fucking retard over me? Really? Hey, Joe, say the first 11 words that come to your head. Oh, I'm sorry. You couldn't spin that one. Sorry. I'm a little tough. Like that's literally what would actually happen.
Bravo.
Like, because he's so much more competent than him on a debate stage, on a talking, like, Biden screams out as a senile guy because he's a senile guy. Like, Trump is a goof, but he's with it. And so that comparison, I don't think, would look unfavorably towards him on a stage. And the thing with DeSantis is, like, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody really likes that guy very much. Even months ago when they were saying, like, oh, Trump isn't as threatening as DeSantis, I never bought that. Like, even in Florida, DeSantis isn't that much more popular than
Yeah, they
Trump,
only
if
really
at
vote for him
all.
because he has an R on his name.
Exactly.
Honestly, if he didn't have an R on his name, guy would be nothing.
Yeah,
Like,
but he doesn't inspire people in
All right,
Idaho.
that's not true.
the way-
So that's
the
not
way
true.
Trump
He won an
extends it.
overwhelming election down there, like something crazy, like 65.
Yeah, because Florida, that's Florida.
Yeah.
That's just how it is over there.
If he ran versus Trump, he would have got butt fucked.
What are the issues? That's actually what I genuinely want to know. Like, okay, so no surprise, I'm a Democrat liberal guy, social liberal. That's just how I am. You know, I believe that you can always have constructive debate. I'm not one of those like my way's the right way. I don't give a shit personally. That being said, I just don't know what the platform is, and I've tried to like look it up and see what the platform is, the Republican platform for 2024 is. And I just don't really like.
I'll tell you, what we're going to start with.
Okay, go for it.
Start with. We're going to protect your kids from those lefties. They're queer and they're coming for your kids. That's what they chant in the streets when they talk about your children. They're coming for them. And somehow or another, the far right white man has found a way to identify with the far right Muslim, and they're marching in the streets together now, saying, "Leave our children alone, please. Please leave our children alone." We applied for a permit today. We're trying to be nice about this. Leave our children alone, and they won't. They keep going and going, and no, we want to do this and that and the other. And it's this age isn't old enough to have sex, and this age isn't old enough to send pictures. This age is fine though to remove genitals and to apply life-changing hormone treatments. That is where we're going to start. And I say we can't kind of. I don't consider myself a Republican, but on that issue and on leaving people's children alone, I guess I'm pretty right-facing on that one.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that perspective at all. Like for me, it's just if you want to leave the children alone, it's perfectly fine. But I think it's important to just teach tolerance and just, hey, you know, some kids are going to be different from you. Some kids are going to be the same as you. Some kids are going to have different issues from you. So it's just really, that's all I care about. It's just, you know, like teaching people to just treat each other with respect no matter what. And if we can get there.
Republicans make imaginary, they're coming
utopian
for your children bullshit the center of their campaign, they'll get as butt fucked as they did the last 3 election cycles.
If
It
they
is
make what
not
about
an
kids?
issue. imaginary. They're trying to make your kids boys into girls and girls into boys. They're trying to indoctrinate them into some gay lifestyle. That's not even true. And it is
you
the
have
kind
seen
of thing that voters see through.
You have seen like the books being like it's one of the things that I'm not close to at all because I don't have children, but I have friends who have kids, and a buddy of mine on the school board of his local like school board, he showed me images of the books they had in their library to show to like 7 and 8 year olds. It's fucking absurd, dude. It's fucking absurd. It's full on nudity. It's showing penetration. There is no world in which this is a normal thing to show a child. When he showed it to me, I was like, are you serious? Like, this is what it is? And he was like, yes, like me and all the other parents are fighting against basically the administrator right now, saying we don't want our kids being taught this stuff. And so that's what it seems to be, is a bunch of parents organically making their voices heard, and then administrators maligning them as bad people for wanting their kids to not be exposed to stuff that those pictures my buddy showed me were fucking ghoulish. Like, you do not, it was inappropriate. Yeah.
But I
teaching,
don't know.
there were like
It
little
sounds horrific,
illustrations about how to like
usually
eat
the
ass.
stuff I hear about is like, oh, they're putting fucking kitty litter in the break room so that kids who identify as cats can poop and pee there.
Yes.
Which is bullshit. It never happened.
Of course, but that is by design a story made to make you believe that none of
because there's a very real thing, right? Like what Taylor said,
like
is
Joe
very real.
Rogan spread that repeatedly, and I don't think that he's part of some sort of big kitty litter by design to mock you.
I mean, somebody told him that. He shouldn't have believed it.
Someone he knew in real life,
he shouldn't
that
have
he trusted, who was a teacher, told him that.
But also,
because he's a meathead,
that's
Joe Rogan's an
idiot.
idiot. Yeah, he thought she was a direct source, but she wasn't. She had heard it from somewhere else, and then it was bullshit.
Yeah.
It was never just
the reason they have that is so in a school shooting, when they're locked down and don't have access to a bathroom, they can put it on pee and poop, where the children have to pee and poop on the floor in the fucking classroom, and they have to throw some sawdust on it. That's what that's for.
No, it's for vomit.
If it's even real in the first place.
Nope.
I don't know.
Nope. It's exactly what I said.
Is it? I thought you were making that up.
Nope. It's exactly what I said. It's another case of people being afraid to talk about shit. And then we end up in a political discussion instead.
I've only seen kitty litter used for throw up kids.
So the kitty litter we're talking about is the kitty litter that's in the kits, that comes in this kit, and it's in the school shooter kit, like the emergency supply stuff in the classroom. It's not the janitor closet stuff. We've got some kitty litter in this room, so that if we are locked down in this room for 8 hours, 10 hours, and somebody's got to go, we can cover it up. We can throw something on it. That's what it's about.
Ooh, it's still a symptom of the right chasing ghosts right now, and it's part of the reason they're losing elections.
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
I mean, I think people just want normal. You know, I genuinely believe that people, like a majority of the normal ass people in this country, don't identify with any of that fringe left, fringe right stuff. They're just like, can we just get back to like some kind of decorum, some kind of just normalcy where we can at least like have a I know it's impossible at this point. I think we are too far gone like with the divide, that something big is going to happen that will create the splinter, and then it'll, you know, and I'm not saying like civil war or whatever, but like just something will happen that will create a bigger divide, and then it will just Trump splinter from there. It could be. I mean, we could be on the precipice of this right now, you know. But yeah.
So I'm on the left, and I kind of enjoy the idea of Trump getting his comeuppance, right? You know, like he's been lying and just getting away with everything for so long. I'm like, at last, fucking pay the price for what you do. On the other hand, I worry a little bit that maybe it's a bad idea to throw him in jail. But that just increases popularity, increase the split in the country, etc.
100%. Yeah.
It's just a matter of what the worst idea is. Is the worst idea just to let him get away with everything?
I mean, we let all these politicians get away with horrific things constantly. And so I guess that was Kyle's
Nixon went home.
These people do absurd, horrific, illegal things. Every single person in Congress went in, made $178,000 a year, and now they're worth $500 million each. Like, they're all corrupt, despicable people. They all break the law. All these presidents do this shit. And so it seems selective to hit him with it harder than everyone else, especially when it's like he's the lead runner of the opposing party in the middle.
But I think it's ignoring, though, that
I don't
like
remember.
It was
wait. No one
Go
else
for it.
did this. No one else like led a riot into the Capitol building where the people smeared shit on the walls and prevented, at least for a few hours, the rightful winner of the election from getting that job, right? Like no one else refused to return the documents that they found that they had around their house. Like you're like, everyone does this and they're only punishing Trump for it. No, Trump is unique in the fact that he does it worse and greater and more than anyone
It's
else.
really just the spotlight.
Can I just say the reason we know that is because Trump is like constantly being investigated. I mean, it's rare that we send the FBI into people's homes and start looking for anything they might have done wrong. I mean,
well, correct me if I'm wrong,
usually
but
they
that
find
instance,
something.
that instance wasn't it,
the crime.
They
he
knew
had
he had the
paperwork.
docs.
Yeah, he had paperwork. They asked him, he refused. And then they asked him again, knowing that he had it, and then he refused, and then they tried to delete the tapes.
Yeah.
So it's like you're kind of setting yourself up there, buddy. You know,
You're 100% right. What he did was retarded, and that's against the law. You're right. That is. You
like
can't-
if
you
I
can't
had
do
done that, my brown ass would be in jail.
All
You know
of
what I'm
us
saying?
all of us would be in jail for that.
We'd all be in jail
100%.
right now, you know. But then for me, I think the bigger one was mostly just January 6th. That the docs, what was it? Obama did it, right? Hillary did all those proceedings for I
was
forget
told
what it
that
was.
no big deal.
Yeah, and then all that stuff it happens all the time. So I'm like, it's terrible.
Wait,
Shouldn't
Obama
happen.
didn't
Period.
have docs.
Did he have docs? Or he had docs and returned them or something like that?
No, he did.
No, he never did.
He had something like 30 million documents. It was outrageous. But what actually happened was there was an Obama library where these docs were going to, and it was actually the National Archives office that had them, not Obama. And Trump tries to mistell the story as if Obama also had docs, but he didn't. Biden had docs. They were in his garage. And I think he found them, notified people, and returned them without them being asked for. That's what Biden did. Pence, I think they discovered he had docs and he was like, oh, shucks, my bad. And he returned them right away.
Yeah, because in most cases, that's what happens, right? It's you have docs.
And Trump
like,
wasn't charged
you
with
have
having
these
docs.
Yeah.
It's important that people know that. Trump wasn't charged with having docs. He was basically charged with refusing to give them back. And then deleting the videotapes of them hiding the documents. He's obstructing justice. And
he wiped his whole email server.
You know, those documents were about the aliens. He was just trying to get the truth out to us.
Just trying to get the truth
I wish
out there.
that was true.
If I were Trump, that's the angle I take.
I wanted to just reveal aliens are real.
The real documents you took, you son of a bitch. Like that should be his.
So
They're
Zach
real,
actually,
and I had to let you know.
Zach said, would you feel, similarly if like Obama or Bush, like if they charge Obama and Bush before crimes or things like that? And I'm like to me, again, it just boils down to accountability. Don't care where you fall. Don't care what's your political affiliation. If you do something wrong, you should be held accountable for it. And that's it. That's like I think every sane person thinks of.
I disagree so strongly. We would not have much of a country if our presidents knew that they were going to be tried for anything that might have verged outside the line right after their presidency, because they have to make decisions like dropping a nuclear bomb on Japan. They have to make decisions
for sure.
like invading countries, bombing people on a daily. I just read about Biden killing a whole bunch of people in Syria. Presidents murder hundreds of people throughout their careers, like not just like ordering a war to happen or sending guys into a specific battle. They'll be like, "Sir, do we push the button or no?" Yeah, go ahead and push that motherfucker.
Oh well, and just so that we're 100% clear, I'm not that part. That's a thing that I will never understand. None of us can ever understand truly, like what goes on in those situations. I play Call of Duty. I know the no Russian mission.
I called it Harrier strikes.
Yeah. Don't you just hit up on the D-pad? Isn't that what you're supposed to do? And then they come out. But up or down, depending on how it was. But I'm saying like the actual like January 6th, like that to me is very clearly like it was. It's clear as fucking day to anyone with eyes that all that happened was not appropriate, right? And it was incited from somewhere, and it was incited, But and again,
3 hours, Trump did nothing while he allowed. He didn't even tweet like, "Hey guys, it's bad." Nope. He just hoped it played out. Hoped it helped him retain power.
I liked it. I didn't want him to retain power. I wanted them to do the right thing and make Biden the president. But I hate that fucking building, all those cocksuckers that work in it. So why
How
would
about
I
a new
hope,
building?
I hope it was a nutty shit they put
How
on
about
the
a
wall.
glass
I hope somebody had to scrape
glass
the corn
building.
off
I
the
like
fucking
that.
fine marble that I'll never fucking see in her,
If I could-
her goddamn office. I don't give a shit that they put their that was
Yeah,
Nancy.
who gives a
that's,
fuck
That's
about that
America's office they put their feet up in.
Yeah.
I
Like,
don't know.
really? Do you
Yeah.
believe
That's
that
evil
these people
witch
are,
who cackles
like-
behind Biden and like sells us out day in and day out? That's her fucking office that they sent the guy
Yeah.
to prison for 7 years for.
Dude, they drummed up so much
and he's
anger
a
over
dumb
that like
fucking-
foot on the desk picture. It was retarded.
And he's a
it was
dumb
ridiculous.
fucking redneck
Yeah,
that
they were
invaded
like,
a government building. So fuck him. But she's just as bad in my book. Like I paint them all with the same goddamn brush.
She
So
might be worse.
I
than
hope
him.
they did put shit on the walls, though.
100%
I didn't
worse.
see that. Was there shit on the walls?
I didn't see poo on the walls, but I believe there could be.
I think that there was a lot of people who were there to go do some shit. They didn't know what it was going to be. I think there were people with like organized plans to do shit. I think Trump essentially gave them the go ahead to get as rowdy as they needed to be. Although I think it's a step too far to say he like led them in or sent them into that place or that room or to do a specific thing. But I also think that there's FBI agents in that crowd who are instigating it, making it worse so that they can get extra charges on people because that's what the FBI does. Like anytime you see, I don't like to defend pedophiles, but every one of those Chris Hansen things or those To Catch a Predator things, what's on the beginning of that before you get some kook in your living room to humiliate him and ruin his life, deservedly, is an adult talking dirty to him on the internet for days. He's over there fucking jerking off for the first time in his lonely life. There's a sexy 15-year-old who's so interested in him, calling him daddy or whatever you want. And send him fake pictures and stuff. And really it's someone's, I just really want to see mom and dad are out of town this week. And he's just like, I don't know what to do. And now Chris Hansen has you,
Mm-hmm.
So
Ooh.
you're
right.
In the car business, we call that putting somebody together.
Really?
What happened? Oh, I put them together.
Put them together.
Yeah,
Fucking
I think
idiot
it's
who was
true.
drinking
And
Shasta in the kitchen.
Dude,
before
in
he knew
the
it.
trials, time and time again, all these guys who ransacked the Capitol were like, I thought that's what Trump wanted. I thought he would pardon me. I thought I was operating under his orders. And Trump cleverly never says what he wants to happen directly. Like I remember with Michael Flynn, I think he was in trouble for being a criminal in one way or another. And he talked to Comey and he's like, man, it sure would be nice if people would just stop investigating him. Right. So I didn't tell you to do it. I didn't give you instructions. I'm just telling you what would be cool if it happened. So he speaks in that kind of code. And then you look back and it's like, Trump never told you to do that, but you knew he wanted that.
Do you really want him out of your politics, though?
Oh, in terms of entertainment value? I think so. I'm too much of a politics nerd.
Gotcha.
I think
that he brings out the best and the worst in his opponents and and the others, though. I think without him, we don't know that Giuliani's a shitbird. I think that he slides under the radar and maybe gets a position of power that he shouldn't have. I think because we've got Trump there just walking around with his fly open because he doesn't give a shit, we get to see all the fucking awards that are stuck to him for what they are.